Welcome to another challenge. Welcome to the 5-day holiday clean eating challenge. I'm really excited to have you here because that always means that you have decided to start taking action into getting control of your health. So congratulations on that. And why I have decided to create this challenge is because a lot of people struggle during the holiday season, and that's something that happened to me years ago. People, when they get into the parties, the cookie swaps, or the coworkers start bringing a lot of sweets, or there is alcohol everywhere, they start losing the track of the healthy eating habits that they have during the rest of the year. And then because they're cheating one day and then they're gonna cheat 2 days later or days later, they say, okay, forget it. I'm just gonna keep going like that and I will continue with my normal eating after the holidays. And sometimes to come back on track is not that easy, not that easy. So it is why I created this challenge, because we don't create diets, we create lifestyles that we can continue even if a holiday season comes, even if a birthday party comes, even if you are traveling. How we can control and which strategies we can use in order to be able to stay on track, even if there is a day that you may be cheating, or just, let's don't call it cheating so you don't feel bad. You just lose the track a little bit, but then you keep going with your healthy lifestyle, because that is what it's all about, creating a lifestyle. So it's why during these 5 days, what I'm going to be teaching you is how to transform some of the most popular holiday dishes that people go through in Thanksgiving or Christmas, like for example, stuffing. We're gonna make a grain-free, low-carb, anti-inflammatory stuffing, or the gravy, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie. Some of those dishes that are delicious but are sabotaging your body and taking you out from your goals. So we are going to transform it into the healthy alternative, because it's possible and it's still delicious. But then beside compiling a lot of recipes and having a huge list of things that you know you are supposed to do during the holidays, because you are going to be following the guide that you got in the email. The guide is giving you how to do food substitutions, certain tips that you can do before you go to a party or while you are in a party. So we have a list of things that we know what to do, right? And we have a list of recipes that we can use. But if we don't know how to implement that and how to put it in action, because we have a block and we just get overwhelmed with all of that, that is the most important step, learning how to implement it. So this is why in day number 1, we are not cooking. In day number 1, we are starting strong, because we are going to learn exactly that. We are going to learn how to implement and those strategies, which are the strategies and how to implement them, so you are able to stay on track during the holidays, during a trip, when you feel you are going to be losing the track of your health journey. So I'm very excited for that, to have with me a good friend, Roanne Abe. Roanne Abe is a life coach and founder of Goal Focus Results. And she is here today with me to give us those strategies and how to implement them. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about Roanne. Ran is a board certified coach and LLP practitioner whose passion is to empower clients reach their next level and move towards the life they envision. She uses the teaching that she has learned from strategic intervention, Brendan Burchard and Tony Robbins, to coach clients towards their outcomes. Most clients start off feeling that they are too busy, too stressed, or too tired. They don't want to fail again. So Roanne draws upon her coaching knowledge and experience to align clients with their goals and achieve them by taking action. clients grow and achieve their outcomes with her guidance, motivation, and accountability. She works with clients to create a customized plan that works with their goals, beliefs, and schedule. So I'm very, very excited to have Roanne with us today. Welcome, Roanne. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Elena. Glad to be
Yes,
here.
I'm very excited about this because actually this is one of the most important things that people should start learning whenever we want to stay on track for healthy habits. But maybe I'm a little bit curious first. If you can tell us a little bit about your journey, what took you to be in that chair today?
The journey that got me here today was I was really struggling myself, and things that had worked for me in the past, I used stress a lot to push myself. And after years of doing that, I realized, it wasn't doing my body any good, and it's not something that I could maintain. And I really looked for strategies and ways that I could really take my game up to the next level to be where I wanted to be in the future, but without having that toll on my body and to constantly rely on stress to push myself. And it's really along that journey that I found that the joy is really in helping others to make that own discovery within themselves so that they can live the life that they want. And it's just by making small changes every day and doing them consistently that get you there.
Yeah, that's powerful and beautiful. And when you say stress is always the first one that gets into our mouth, into our words when we're talking about uh, following a healthy lifestyle. Stress is the main causes of diseases in our society right now, and is what is stopping us from reaching the most of our goals. So going to the topic of our challenge, which is the trying to eat clean during the holiday season. So this, I listen to it a lot, as I mentioned before, like, I want to start working on it, but I don't know if I can because I have a trip coming or, Christmas is coming. So there are a lot of parties. So I think I'm going to start after. And then the person keeps delaying and delaying and delaying because there's always something coming and never happens. So what do you think is happening there? Why people keep putting those blocks?
I believe it's because we're always taught to be perfect, right? You got to get straight A's in school. You got to be the best you can be. And that makes us afraid of implementing because we always want to have that perfect implementation. We want to get that A and, get the gold star of approval. And really, that's not going to happen because people who we look up to as our icons in society, like just take for like you have Elon Musk, you have John Bezos or Jeff Bezos. And if people just looked at their past and how many failures they had, they would go, oh, hey, I should start today instead of wait till tomorrow when everything's perfect. And the other thing that happens is people get overwhelmed, right? It's huge to go from I'm going to eat at McDonald's all day to I'm going to eat really healthy and clean all the time. And it's just teaching them how to break it down into more manageable milestones so that they can eventually say at the end of their time frame, I eat healthy every day and I'm a healthy eater.
Yeah. Yeah, and what you said is important. It's just we try to be 100% perfect, and nobody is. People think, for example, myself, because I do teach what I teach, people think that I do it 100% perfect constantly all the time, and it's not like that. I also meet friends. I try to control as much as I can, but sometimes it's hard and it's impossible to do it. So we just try to make the best we can based on the situation that we are, and that is already good. Because as you said, there is a huge list of things to do and can be overwhelming. But if the person is doing at least just one a day, that's
Hmm.
already good. It's a really good step forward into a healthy lifestyle
Yeah.
to get.
So I love your guidebook where it says, if you're going to go to a party or a potluck, bring that one dish that you love to eat that you know is going to be healthy, so that you have something that you can go to and really enjoy at the party, and maybe it'll crowd out all the other things that you don't want to eat so much of. And at least you go in with a plan, right? You have a plan. You're going to enjoy yourself at the party, and this is how you're going to keep to your plan, and that'll keep you 80% of the way there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's important. Actually, we have a comment here saying, I'm excited to be here. Actually sounds like me, too much stress and anxiety. Really looking forward to hearing more. So we go back to the same thing, stress and anxiety. And that's something that happens also, not just because we live in a stressful and rushy society, but it's because holidays are stressful. They get off what is really holidays. It's all about the shopping and the preparation and all of that. So how do you think we can really control that stress that comes along together with the holidays?
Oh, when it comes to the holidays, I go back to what is the purpose of the holidays and why do I want to celebrate it? So for myself, I want to celebrate the holidays because it's all about family, right? So then I start to think about, okay, so Thanksgiving, what do I want to do with my family? All the eating aside, right? Is it just the fellowship time that I want to have with them? And I go, okay, great. So I'm going to have fellowship time with them. And this is, I think, like, what am I going to enjoy? And it's just having some time with my mom, to have those one-to-one conversations, even if it's like 15 minutes, and, just checking in with my brother and seeing how he's doing, and making sure that I can show my children, because they're still, they're teenagers right now, and I want to model to them how it is to have a family interaction. So to me, if we get the food or we celebrate with food, that's fine. But what I want to tell them more of is that it's more the conversations that you have with people. And even if the food is bad, right? Because I've had that too, where you make something and it flops and it's not the best or the greatest. Or you get there and the turkey is like super dry or something, and it's inedible, right? So it's to teach them how you overcome that as a family, right? You give people grace and you say, okay, so we're not going to have this. Let's see what else we can do, right? Maybe we'll try to make soup out of it or something instead. But it's to make sure that they're focused on what is the true purpose of it. So, all this stressfulness of buying the right gift, or making sure your house is clean, or getting to places on time. I always remember, if the true purpose is family, family will give you grace. So you don't have to be perfect. And it's okay to show them that you're human too. And my house is not 100% clean all of the time. And they give me grace for it. So I just fall back on that.
Yeah, or even make a game, like each of the family members is going to start taking care of something. So it's not just the responsibility of only one person. So try to delegate sometimes and make it fun. Maybe there is a nice prize after, so then people get more involved on it. So yeah. That's important. So in order to get there and be able, because maybe I'm gonna go to a party and I'm gonna eat before, but still I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna see the cocktails and certain things that usually get attracted to our brain more than our body, to our brain. So which are the main strategies that you consider are good, something simple that people can do to avoid those temptations whenever they go somewhere?
That's a good one. So if drinking something is my Achilles heel, right? That's my weakness, then I'll always make sure I have a drink in my hand. It could be a bottle of water, or some sort of beverage container, right? Because then when I'm offered a drink, I already have one. And then I can tell them, oh, after I finish my water, then I'll go get some other refreshment later. But because I have the water in my hand, it's a polite excuse to say, oh, I already have something right now, but thank you for offering. If food is my my personal weakness, right? So I have a plate and I make sure I get a small plate. I don't take the big 13-inch plate. I will take a small like dessert plate and I always have something on it. So then when I'm offered to go get something or I'm told like, oh, they're serving dessert now, I can say, oh, I have to finish what's on my plate first and then I can go. And I just try never to go.
That's good because eating slowly, usually our digestive system is gonna fill up. Eating slowly with whatever food we have already in a dessert plate. We it doesn't really need more than that. It's just gluttony sometimes where we feel it like, oh, I gotta try this and that. It's about getting also the mindfulness of how your body feels in that moment. Like pause. And then when we finish also that dessert plate that you said, ask to ourselves, am I really hungry? Because I think I'm done. So then we don't have to go back to that. So yeah, that's. But what about for people that hate drinking water? Because there's people that say I just don't like
Oh,
water.
so for people that one of my friends gave me this really great solution. He's a salesperson, so he always has to appear that, he's drinking something like an alcoholic beverage, but he cannot drink alcohol. So he would have the bartender fill his glass with cranberry juice.
Mhm.
So he might have a wine glass, but in it is some cranberry juice. And he would just nurse that throughout the night, right? So when people look at it, it looks like he has a glass of red wine, but he really doesn't.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if substitute it with whatever color you want, but you can disguise it um, in a different glass, right?
That is a good one. Always trying to put it in the glass where you would be enjoying the alcoholic drink that you like. That make you feel better and thinking that you are drinking that drink. Yeah, that's just not whatever color because I was thinking if a drink is green like my detergent or blue, that is not that healthy. That's
Well,
probably a
I was just
sugary
thinking,
energy drink or something like that. Yeah, but so yeah, but we all understood that a color that goes closer to a fruit juice or something like that. But the main point is to do it on the glass where we would drink or the
right.
cocktail or the
So if you want to make it look like white wine, then you would get a like a healthy beverage that would be similarly colored, right?
yeah, like a grape juice, for example. That's good. I used to drink always when I used to go with my dad. Sundays before lunch in Spain, we go to eat some tapas. So I used to get always the grape juice drink, and they used to put it with an olive, and that what made me really happy actually. The olive that they put in there is like the same for people that drinks martini. Just try to put the same toppings on it as well, so that makes you feel that you are drinking an alcoholic drink. That's
Yeah.
good. Actually, in the guidebook, you can go to get to see the list of the substitutes that you can do to make your mocktails because that is as tasty and better for your body than the ones. But then put it on the right glass, like Roanne just said, because that's a good one. So now that we know whenever we go to a party how to avoid temptation, so first we are not going to go hungry to the party, we are going to eat before, we are going to have our dessert plate over there with the food that we took to the party or the ones that we know we can eat and our non-alcoholic drink. But considering all the stress that comes along during the preparation and then the agenda gets too busy, we forget also about moving our body. I mean, everything starts piling up. So besides avoiding temptations, do you have any tools that people can start using to try to implement all of this, to try to compile the healthy recipes and cook healthy, how to implement all those strategies in order to go through the holidays?
For me, it's all about fun. So I try to think about something fun that I can do with friends because that gives me the accountability. But it doesn't sound like accountability to my friends, right? So I might say, hey, the holidays are coming up. there's a virtual run that's coming up too. What if we all did, like a quarter mile a day?
Mhm.
And then we can turn in our results and we can go get that medal for the virtual run that's coming up. Um, or I love like they have Fitbit or whatever, and they have their own challenges too. And it's a perfect time to say, we're all struggling. Let's just have a fun way to see who does better. Um, for me, I've transformed that into yard work because I love my yard because it gives me so much more family time with my kids. And we can enjoy like campfire now that it's getting a little more chilly. Um, and so I was like, okay, half an hour in the yard. What can I do in half an hour in the yard? And that's what I do. And I just keep thinking like, oh, if I do this now, then I'll have more free time to spend with my kids and they'll really enjoy it.
So try to book a me time
Hmm.
through the day is a very good way to de-stress
Hmm.
from all this stress of the holidays.
Yeah. Even if you set a timer like for every 50 minutes
Yeah.
and you just sat up and you opened your door because we might all be locked down, right, in COVID. Just open your door and look outside and go like, wow, okay. I can see some birds or maybe I see a deer in the distance or did it snow? And you close your door and then you can come back. But it's something to break that state that you're in to get you to just sit up or stand up and walk around and then come back to whatever you were doing.
So do you have any ways to train our brain for that self-control or motivation to implement that? Because we always go back to the same thing. I know I have to do that, but do I really want to do it? So how do we talk to ourselves? Is how do we train our brain has also a lot to do.
So it comes a lot with self integrity, right? Because you want to stop lying to yourself. And every time you say, okay, I want to go and do that, and then you never like, I want to go exercise for 10 minutes today. And by the time you go to bed, you haven't exercised for 10 minutes. Then it's like your subconscious or your unconscious mind learns that, oh, what Roanne tells me isn't true, and I'm not going to believe her anymore. Right? So you have to start saying, I'm not going to lie to myself anymore and use language that will get you going, right? Like, I'm not going to be that person that lies to herself. I'm going to always tell myself the truth. And when I say something, I do it. And just pick a time on your calendar and schedule it, right? Like lunchtime. I'm going to go walk to the store and go buy my healthy snack and come back. That's what my plan is for my walk and go do it. And you just have to keep exercising that muscle, right? Because at first it's going to be super weak, but the more often you do it, the better you'll get at it. And then you won't have to think about it anymore. But put it in your schedule because most people, what's on your schedule, you do.
And actually, I like that you talk about the schedule because for me, is one of the most important tools that I have in order to add all the things that I want to do for myself on a day. And that is the same schedule for work because the day has 24 hours. So we have to include work or we have to include meeting somebody or we have to include there what we are doing for self-care. Is always the same calendar. So for me, calendar work very well. But do you have any tools that I think work better and you have seen that work better for people to keep themselves accountable?
So what I like to do is I like to use Brendan Burchard's planner or his method of planning it out, which is really you're looking at your week to see what is it that I need to do in the week to achieve my goals, right? And then you start blocking out time for your three main goals. I normally don't like to have people have more than three because it's hard to track, right? And you just block off time for those three main goals, and then you can fill it with anything else. But if when you the first pass of your calendar, if it doesn't support your three main goals, then it shouldn't be on your calendar. You have to be ruthless and just take it off, right? Because you got to get your, as Stephen Covey like to say, your big rocks onto your calendar. And then you can fill in the rest of the calendar with your smaller rocks, right? Or the fun things, the things that aren't going to matter toward your three big goals. And you just take a look at it every day. So after you plan out the week, then on a daily basis, you look at it and go, okay, what are my three big goals? What are the top 5 things I need to do for the day? If everything goes to the wind, right? What are the top 5 things that I need to do? And then um, you know what you need to do during the day. If emergencies happen, life happens, you know what your top 5 are that you need to get done.
Yeah, I really like that strategy of the angles. Yeah, to make it clear. That's a good one. Any other strategy that you like for keeping person accountable?
So I always like they teach us when you go on the airplane, if the oxygen mask comes down, you have to put on yours first before you can help anyone else. It's the same way with your calendar. You have to put down you first because you have to take care of you. If you don't take care of you, you can't do anything else, right? Everything stops if your body just doesn't work anymore. So take care of you. It's not selfish because if you have to fund your mission, so it's very important. So put in your big rocks of exercise, when are you going to cook your meals? When are you going to prep? Just put that in your calendar and block it off. And then go and put your goals in there, you know, and then you can say, okay, what do I have other time to do? Do I have time to binge watch Netflix, whatever else it's going to be? And it's okay because you've already taken into consideration I've already planned out my big rocks, right?
No, but actually what you just said is actually most important first. Also, we let's set up the goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we know a lot of things that we gotta do, but we don't know why we do them. So I think actually the most important first is to understand also which is the why I want to do this, why I want to get there, how it wants to make me feel. And then when we know those whys and those goals is when we can set up how we are going to get there and we can put it in the calendar. So yeah, the why is what I find that most of the people they forget about why
Oh.
in one place they started doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they get so overwhelmed that they stop. But it's about going back to the why. If I want to keep up because I'm elder, I want to keep up and have energy to play with my grandchildren. Whatever is the why, right? So the most
Mm-hmm.
important is always go back to that. So that give us the strength and give us such a good feeling that you don't really want to lose the track of that because you want to get there. So
Yeah.
that's I think is the most important. Okay, somebody said the oxygen mask was a really good example. So say I need to learn to put my oxygen mask on first, tough as a mother and caregiver to elderly parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so hard, and I give you credit, because taking care of the elderly, especially when they're your loved ones, is really stressful and it's very time consuming, right? And you have to. I really stress this. Any caregiver has to spend time for themselves, or you'll just burn out. And if you burn out, who's going to take care of them? There's not going to be that safety net for them anymore. So yeah, plan that out. And if you can, don't do it all by yourself. You know, I grew up with in Hawaii. It's very common to have multi generations in a family, and I watched my parents take care of their parents, and the partnerships that they had with their siblings to help with that care was critical. It gave both families, for the siblings, time to have downtime and true vacation time where they didn't have to worry about their parents care anymore. And I really encourage you, schedule that in. Very important.
Yeah, that was a really good example. And sometimes, a person like this can be really, really busy So sometimes just waking up 20 minutes earlier and just take that time to get organized for the rest of the day, and or just do something for yourself, not just for anybody else, just for yourself, to take the energy to keep going through the day. That's important. But yet getting help, I think, is also learning how to try to get help as well is very important. Yeah, that's great. So then, talking about goals, actually, do you have anything else to share? Any other strategy you want to share?
Whenever I sit down with goal setting with any client, we always go through their values first because it's so important to have the values guide your goal, or they're not going to be in alignment and you're going to just run into problems later trying to fulfill them. So always look to your values, your why. Why do you want to do it? Your purpose, and then set the goal out and really focus on what is the intention of that goal. So is it just really to get to your ideal health weight, or is it to be a healthy version of yourself so that everything works as best that it can and your body knows or has the materials it needs to repair any kind of illness that comes its way? Because with the changing of weather, I know, at least for myself, I feel my body has to think differently or work a little differently to overcome the new elements that it hasn't had to face during the summer months, right? It doesn't have to, I don't know, it doesn't have to keep warm anymore. It has to figure out better way, or it doesn't have to keep cool anymore, rather, during the summer months. Now it has to worry about how do I keep warm, right? how, how do I deal with all the mold or the pollen that's in the air now? And I have to eat different. And so I love working with a coach that knows how what I eat affects my body so that I can fill it with all the building blocks that it needs to just repair itself,
Yeah.
right? And maintain.
Yeah, we all need support. Even if we think that we have everything under control and we can do everything, at the end we burned out because we really can't. And sometimes we just need the push and to see things on a different way to be able to move forward. So actually, I'm very excited because to set up all those goals, you have something, a giveaway for the audience, the people who join the challenge. Can you tell
Yeah.
us?
So what I've done is I've put together a goals journal. And if anyone in the challenge wishes to download a copy of this goals journal, there is a link on the website video uh, to go get the journal, and it's totally free. And I encourage you, sit down and really go through those questions that it asks you so that you can write out a goal that really meets your needs. And okay, don't just read it and keep it in your head and say, okay, I know what I want. I'm going to go do it. You have to write it down. I mean, truly, just pen and paper and write it down because there's a connection that your unconscious mind makes when you write it down and you're actually writing it out um, to connecting with that goal. So don't skip that step.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Marta said that she has already downloaded. Yes, very good. I encourage, it's in the description of the video and it's totally free. So I encourage you to do it because, as we said, holidays or any other thing that may come to you is fine. It's just part of life. We just have to go through like we go with the rest of the things. But then in order to keep the track, we just need to stay accountable to our original why and goals. So this guide is going to help you with that. So just download it as well. And I also encourage you to book a breakthrough session with Roanne, because if you are really stuck and you feel that you cannot do it by yourself and you need some support, you are going to get a lot of clarity in there. So we put the link as well in the description of the video, and that is going to help you to bring your motivation back, your mojo back, to keep going and reach those goals that you had originally, and then you may feel stuck and you cannot get there. As soon as you get in that path, you are able to go through the holiday season and anything else and keep it strong, because that is more important than the feeling that is causing the sugar when it goes to your brain when you eat a bite of that cake. All right. So, well, thank you, Ron. I don't know if anybody has any questions that wants to go through. Now for Ron, we are open to that for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I know we are going with the live stream a little bit delayed, so we may get the question a little bit delayed, but if we don't have any questions now, or you are watching the recording, you can put your questions in the comments of the video, and then Ron or myself, we will go through and then answer those questions as well. That's important. So no questions?
Oh.
All right, so thank you very much, Ron. Thank you.
Oh,
I hope everybody's gonna download that guide. It's really, really powerful tool to keep them going. Actually, we got one question now. In setting goals, Martha says, in setting goals, any suggestions on how to keep them real? I often set them too high and it's hard to achieve.
so I would ask, is there something wrong with setting a high goal? If the goal doesn't stretch you, then it's not really a goal. Like if I said, I'm gonna wake up at 6 o'clock every morning, but I always wake up at 6 o'clock every morning, that's not really a goal. That's just, my way of life already. Your goal should stretch you. And what's the worst that can happen is if you aim high, okay, so you aim for the moon and you got into orbit. Is that such a bad thing? But unless you push yourself, you'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad to push ourselves hard sometimes, I think, and get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's just, we also have to
Yeah.
take it easy in the process, and maybe achieving that, if it's kind of too high, it may take longer.
Hmm.
But
That's true. Maybe your timeline just needs to be longer. But okay, so if I wanted to change myself into a dog, okay, that's not real. That's not going to happen. At least in my lifetime, that's not going to happen. Um, but if I wanted to be president, that could happen. That could happen.
why
If I
not?
really, really, really wanted it, that could. I don't, but that could happen. But why not? If that's the way of change that you want, why not?
Yeah, so they may be hard, but patience is the key to success, as I always say, and it may take a little bit longer, but we can get there. So it's why patience is one of the main tools as well, because I feel also when people are making changes into a healthier lifestyle, they want to see the results in 2 weeks. And they say, I've been doing this for 3 weeks and I just feel I'm not where I want to be. I mean, 3 weeks is really nothing. And, just implementing a few things in 3 weeks is already a lot. But yeah, there's people
Oh
that
yeah.
are overachievers that they feel or is 100% or nothing. And it's not like that.
Yeah. And that's where, working with a coach is a great way to break down your milestones so that you can keep it real but yet challenging for you to meet.
Yeah, so Martha said, yes, I true thoughts. Thank you. All good thoughts. If we don't have goals, we certainly don't achieve. Exactly. That's a really good message. All right. So thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you, Ram, for being here. I think this is one of the most important things that we have to talk about on this challenge, how to implement everything that we are going to learn in the following days. So thank you so much for all your guidance and all the tools that you gave us.
Oh, you're welcome. Have fun.